you considering?
Brent, feel free to chime in. You're talking about the CCA still,
Yes.
correct? My understanding is later this year on the flight.
We know
but
a date?
As far as the I don't know the exact date, ma'am. But Brent, you might know.
Yes, ma'am. We can get back to you on the specific date. It should be this fiscal year. And for our budget request, it's $804 million for the collaborative combat aircraft.
Great. Thank you. How much time do I have left? I'll just, also, can you then outline what is planned for increment 2? What type of capabilities can we expect and what timeline in critical milestones?
We'll get back to you on that one, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. With that, I yield.
Thank you, gentlelady. And I'd just like to point out that Mountain Pass is in San Bernardino County, California. So one of the only critical mineral mines only left in the United States. Hopefully that'll change soon. Mr. Joyce. Nope. Mr. Elsie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Served as the senior enlisted advisor to the Commandant of the Marine Corps and now to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. And I think, but what will be most missed, if you didn't know this about him, in 2010, he received the Bronze Star with a Combat V for running across several hundred yards of mine-in-placed fields to pick up a fallen Marine. You're a Marine's Marine. You will be missed. You are the pride of Louisville, Kentucky. And I'd like to say, on behalf of this committee and our nation, we're grateful, and fair winds and following seas. Secretary Hegseth and General Kane and Ms. McDonald, glad you're here. I'm personally grateful for your service to our country and for sharing your valuable time with us today. Raising you bring a non-traditional perspective to your tenure as chairman, having been a guardsman and an entrepreneur. Thank you for saying yes once again when called to serve, and also Distinguished Flying Cross and 2 Bronze Stars. You didn't get that by sitting behind a desk. You were a fighter pilot's fighter pilot. You helped the plan to bring down Scuds in 2003. So thank you for your service. And Mr. Secretary, I want to salute you for your leadership and action-oriented approach at the Pentagon. You've created a sense of urgency that General Kane refers to in his testimony, and back to the issue of what we're not talking about today, and it's recruitment. Because in this family business, all-volunteer force of ours, parents and their children who want to serve our country are now no longer afraid to sign up for fear of them being misused or not having their merit being rewarded appropriately. So thank you. You've also highlighted our service academies in that effort. Mr. Womack and I both serve on the boards of visitors at West Point and the Naval Academy, so thank you. I also appreciate your guidance on using commercial solutions in acquisition and on reducing the inflation that we have seen in the numbers of flag and general officers. And I think we can make the Pentagon a triangle pretty quick. There are more Navy admirals in the various systems commands than there are in the fleet. That's too many flags in D.C. and not enough at the waterfront or on the flight line. But speaking of acquisition, I want to turn to the plans of a 6th-generation fighter. General Kane, in his prepared statement, states that the F-47 will continue to ensure U.S. air dominance for decades. I'm a fervent supporter of not only F-47, but whatever the FAXX is going to turn out to be. And I want to make that clear to everyone listening. Our Navy, our Joint Force, and our future combatant commanders need the Navy's 6th-generation fighter, the FAXX. Relying only on the Air Force's 6th-generation fighter does not solve our air superiority challenge, because whether they're coming from Guam or Diego Garcia, the DIMPs are already set and the missiles are already guided. It's a non-moving target. An aircraft carrier moves its DIMP every 30 seconds. So we can't do either of those with only the Air Force's plan by. So we either want to win or we don't, and I know we want to win. We have to do it with the FAXX. And a 3-year delay is a de facto cancellation and a win for China, and they are watching. And don't take my word for it. They're conducting unrestricted warfare against us right now. And if you read the 36 guidelines from the 6th century, and they talk about how do you defeat an enemy, or Sun Tzu, you defeat them at home with fentanyl by taking out our military members before they can even join. 70,000 a year. They are being successful in how they're doing unrestricted warfare, and that's exactly what they're conducting. They're also showing us their 6th-generation aircraft right now, and there's at least 3 that we know they're working on. We can't give the field to them and say 5th generation is okay for the Navy, but it's not for the Air Force. We must have both. So several well-informed, well-respected leaders shared with us the importance of having both the Air Force and the Navy 6th-generation fighters, Admiral Paparo, General Alvin, and Admiral Kilby, acting CNO. I'm not going to put you all on the spot, but I just want to make it clear. If you'd like to address it, you may. I'm just putting it that it's that important to me. So what troubles me about the Pentagon needing to be a triangle now is that one of my favorite movies is Office Space. Remember Milton? Milton down there with the swing line. We're not really sure what he did, but he sure made a lot of trouble for everybody. I think we have a lot of Miltons in the systems commands and down there in the Pentagon, maybe at Cape, who are telling you that we can't do something when we absolutely can. They need to go. So let's get rid of the Milton. Let's invest in this generational investment. I'd like to thank Chairman Calvert, Chairman Calvert, for his investment in the FAXX and the bill, and present to this subcommittee later today. So thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay, go Navy. Mr. Morelli, you're recognized.
Thank you, General, Chairman. I'm grateful for your service and grateful, Mr. Chairman, for the hearing today. I don't want to pile on, Mr. Secretary, and I'm brand new to this subcommittee, but I will say that in the same way we wouldn't go into battle without knowing the number of troops, our weaponry, the number of armaments, equipment, supplies, it's really almost impossible for this committee to do its job without details from the President, from the Department on a budget request. So I wonder whether or not we could get a commitment from all of you to come back before the committee when the full, the President's budget request has been delivered so you can answer questions in detail about it.
Certainly, we'll make sure you get those details, Congressman.
Well, getting the details is important, but also being able to answer questions about those details and what they mean, I think would be helpful. So obviously, this is the chairman's decision, but I would ask you to consider coming back before the committee when the president's budget request is submitted to us so we could get your sense of the various items in it. I want to go back to a topic I think Ms. Capter raised, which is Ukraine, and I really appreciate your comment that when you referred to partners on our side like Ukraine, so I'm glad we still consider them partners on our side. Last week, the Ukraine Defense Contact Group met in Brussels. I know we did not attend, you did not attend, and I don't believe you appeared even remotely, but that was a meeting which allies coordinated billions in aid to help Ukraine. We're talking about funding right now without a budget, without a plan to sustain U.S. support in what I consider the most serious conflict in Europe in a generation. So can you at least give us a sense, Mr. Secretary, of the presidential drawdown aid authorized through January 20th? Do you know how much has actually been delivered?
Which PDA?
Just the presidential authority that was given through January 20th when the new administration took over.
Ongoing PDA 71 through 74, and there's a 75th, which has not been allocated, and we're in the middle of drawdown 71 through 74.
Okay, do you have a sense of the how much has actually been delivered?
I don't know the exact amount that has been delivered, but we're actively monitoring it as well as the lifespan of certain munitions, what munitions remain critical for us, critical for them, critical for allies like Israel. We're paying very close attention to the
Okay, and you can give us a detailed, thank you. Do you know whether the department or the president is prepared to ask for funding for the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, and at what level?
It is a reduction in this budget. As you know, this administration takes a very different view of that conflict. We believe a negotiated peaceful settlement is in the best interest of both parties and our nation's interests, especially with all the competing interests around the globe. I don't think the word victory has been well defined or the path to it. And as a result, a path to peace that stops the killing and the carnage is something that President Trump is very invested in.
Well, look, I would certainly, I think I would define victory as making sure incursions, illegal incursions by the Russian Federation into Ukraine, which is a sovereign nation, would be a victory, but I'll leave that aside. I want to just touch briefly on, with the limited time I have, the President's announced $175 billion Golden Dome. It's been talked about. I know that what has been talked about, we understand that reconciliation includes a $25 billion down payment. We haven't really received much in clarity on the specifics. Can you tell me what the $25 billion will be used for?
Well, sir, excuse me, there are many specifics that are not fitting for this setting. We're happy to get you at the appropriate level, the specifics you request. But what we've done is we've built out the entire understanding of what the architecture would look like, ensuring it includes existing capabilities that can be fielded rapidly. As President Trump has made the case, we need this now, not conceptually in the future. You know, we had SDI under Ronald Reagan, which was a concept. We've fast forward to the ability to deliver these things, and the American people deserve that kind of protection. So multiple layers for multiple different types of threats, coordinated with sensors, both on the ground and in space at other layers. And we've got one of our best Space Force generals fully focused on that project in General Gutlein, who has a background in understanding those types of architectures. So we've pulled the program up to the Office of Secretary of Defense to make sure it's monitored on a monthly basis.
Can you tell us what the appropriations request will be for Golden Dome in the 26 fiscal year?
Well, the gentleman, could,
Go ahead, Brent.
Brent, excuse me, Ms. McDonald, you can get back to us on that and
Sir.
for the record, and we would appreciate that. Mr.